Well, hello there. How are you? Welcome to the 50th episode of the 3 a.m. Knitter podcast. My name is Anne and I am the 3 a.m. Knitter. I hope that you're doing well today. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Pictou, Nova Scotia, so that is just lovely. And for some reason, it's all of a sudden above zero. So earlier this week, it was minus 20 one morning when I went out. That's minus 20 Celsius when I went outside in the morning, and today right now it's 3 degrees, so go figure. It's supposed to get cold again though. Gotta love Canadian winter. So all of my contact information and things like that is, as always, down below in the description box. Email, snail mail, my social contacts, Instagram, Ravelry, etc., etc. You can find it all down there below. And if you have not liked and subscribed, please go ahead and do that as well. It really helps the podcast out a lot, and I would be forever grateful to you if you would do that. So there it is. All right, what have I got for you today? Now, I know I say this every time, but it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today because I just have a couple things I wanted to let you know about. So first of all, a little weaving project. So a little background on this. So I am on the board of a nonprofit here in Pictou County, Nova Scotia, called Creative Pictou County. So we are a group that is endeavoring to get engagement in the arts, all different kinds of arts, fiber arts, ceramic, painting, carving, sculpture, film, music, anything in the artistic realm is included in our mandate. So we're having kind of an open house tomorrow at our new space on the waterfront in Pictou, and I have been asked to do a little bit of a weaving demonstration. So I kind of hummed and I hawed, and I thought about what would I like to bring along. And I thought, I really like to show some portable projects because I like to take little looms with me, down to the water, something I can throw in my bag. And then if I find sticks and stuff, I can weave them in, that kind of thing. So I looked at I have a variety of small looms. I looked at those and I thought, yeah, I'm going to try something out with those. So a number of moons ago, I bought this little loom here. This is it's called a bracelet loom. And you can see it's got little slots up here on the top and the bottom. These little holes here are for tying off. And then this section right here is if you wanted to make a piece just this big as opposed to this big. So I used some on-hand materials and I warped it up the other day. And I thought I'm just going to make myself a little bracelet. So I did that. So this is one of the things I'm going to bring along. This here is a kind of a heart-shaped stone that I picked up on the beach one day. And so the idea behind these kinds of projects is that they're simple, they are quick to make up. You can use what you have on hand. You don't have to have any special materials, and you can just use your imagination. I didn't have any sort of pattern for this, and the idea is just to let your creativity kind of be the guide. And so what I've done here is I've used the leftover warps and made them into a little wrap around the rock to hold this piece onto my wrist. So these are the kinds of little projects that intrigue me. They're the kind of projects that make a new craft, perhaps like weaving, available to you if you've never done it before, because you don't need to invest a whole lot of money and you don't need to have any wildly difficult skill set for this, right? This is just basic weaving. So I'm going to be bringing along this little bracelet loom. I'm also going to bring along this wee little guy here. Isn't this the cutest thing you've ever seen? right? So this is kind of something that I use, and I haven't tied anything off on this yet. This is something that I use just to make like little patches, right? That you can use as embellishment, or even just as patches. You could, you know, heat two-sided bonding material on the back, or you could use this as, you know, you could sew something like this on. So what I'm using, what I used for that bracelet, I have all of these cones of Shetland. This is 100% virgin wool from Harrisville Designs. There's about 900 yards per cone. And I have lots of different colors of this, the purple, the blue, the orange, and I don't know if you can see up here. There's greens and reds and yellows. You can't see the yellows, but there's yellows in behind. I think there might be another blue, but I can't recall. So anyway, I just use those as my inspiration. You know, if you're making a piece that is going to get a lot of wear, this might not be the right kind of yarn to use for the warp. But if it's just something that is simple, or a wall hanging or something like that, it's absolutely perfect. So a few of the other looms that I'll be bringing along to show are just these. It's something that I picked up at Rhinebeck, I think, one year. Was it Rhinebeck? Can't remember. But again, it just has the slots at the top and the bottom. A lot of times with this one, what I'll do is I'll just wrap all the way around. You get a really simple weave. Here's another one. Same idea. You can see I've just wrapped it all the way around. So I'll weave here, and then I will cut here and tie off the warps once I've done the weaving. Oops. And, you know, I have various little tools, pickup stick here, shuttle for the yarn. I rarely use this. I'll show you. I use needles, a comb to kind of pack it down. A lot of times I'll just use my fingers, but I use these kind of long needles to kind of sew weave, if you will. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So yeah, so that's what I'll be doing tomorrow afternoon, is doing a little bit of a demonstration. On this one here, this little loom here, I used some of that cone yarn that I just showed you, and then I just wove some miscellaneous yarns that I had in my stash just to make this. So once I've tied this off, but once I weave in these ends and cut them back, you know, you could use this for a little mug rug, that kind of idea. And then just to show something a little different, same idea, just using different types of fibers. And so I have this basket of different weights of yarns, different fibers. Some of this is kind of, you know, fun furry, thick and thin. There's some lace weight, but all kind of in the same color family. So every time I get something left over, or I get like a little mini that kind of fits in, I throw it in this basket. So I've got kind of a color family to whip up something. So I'm very excited to be participating tomorrow afternoon in this event, and I will for sure post on my Instagram feed about it if I have a chance to take any pictures, and I'll let you know on the next episode how things go. But if sorry, let me just lean down here. If you are in the Pictou County area tomorrow afternoon, come on by the DeCoste Center and visit with us, okay? All right, so that's that. Update on my Lunenberg sweater. So I have completed, I'm halfway through the yoke. So super pleased about that. Actually, let me pull this. Oh, there we go. So loving it as I knew I would. So I'm just getting ready to start round 27, and there are 49 rounds in the yoke. You can see, sorry, I got an itchy nose there. That's what it looks like so far. Isn't it just beautiful? Oh, I am so in love with this yoke. My gosh. And just the colors too, right? Anyhow, so completed row 26. I am on row 27, which according to the pattern, it looks like is the last round, not row, round, where there are increases, which is good because the cable that I'm on is just a wee bit too long. So I'm having to magic loop it a little bit. But I think that'll be taken care of when I get to round 29, because I'll be adding a whole bunch of stitches. So very excited about this. Here is, you know, I've told you this before, I do the two-handed Fair Isle technique on almost exclusively on colorwork. Sorry, there must be something in that basket that got me there. So this is what my my back looks like. Quite neat. My rule of thumb, it seems with all color work, is I don't go any more than 5 stitches without picking up a float. I don't know whether that's right, wrong, but it's what I do. I do enjoy the neatness of the back. I'm not adverse to longer throats. I'm not adverse to longer floats. I just prefer this neatness. So anyway, further updates coming on this one. I don't know, halfway there. I'm not going to get the yoke done by next week when I record, but who knows? We'll see how far I get. So that's the update on the Lunenberg sweater. I'm not going to go into any details on the pattern or the yarn because I did that in the last episode, and I'll do an update later on when I'm closer to finishing the sweater on that one. Okay. The other thing that I really wanted to talk to you about today is I think it's amazing, workshop or course that I have coming up. And I'm going to be opening up the wait list for this weekend. So some of you may know this, but probably most of you don't, that a number of years ago, too many to count, I at one point in my life became a certified yoga teacher here in Canada. And I have grown that certification to include lots of other different kinds of certifications that pertain to yoga and meditation and breath work and things like that. And it's always intrigued me how it's always been something that I've wanted to do, is to meld the creative process, knitting, weaving, that kind of thing, in with the practice of meditation or wellness or things like that. And, you know, that is a big thing, right? But I've been trying over the years to figure out how I could incorporate these things together. And so to that end, I've developed a new course, which is called the Lifetime of Memories Shawl Course. What is the Lifetime of Memories Shawl Course? So basically, and I don't want you to get scared, this is a weaving course that incorporates learning about something called the yamas and the niyamas, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. But it is a weaving course that is suitable for any skill level at all. Even if you have never woven a single thing in your entire life, you can do this course, I promise. The idea behind the Lifetime of Memories shawl came to me during a course that I was taking, where we actually did, I'm going to show you a picture. We did weave a shawl. It's woven in parts and then it is sewn together. And here's a picture right here. So each one of these areas here is a panel that is woven separately. So the idea is that we spend time together learning the weaving process if you don't already know it. And we also investigate these principles of living called the yamas and the niyamas. There's another. So you can see, obviously, this person likes fringe. You know, this is where your own creativity comes into play. And then here is, so you can see, it is, some of the joins are rough, some of them are neat and clean. This is all about finding your perfect space within the weaving process, which ties into the experience that you have as you craft. So what are the yamas and the niyamas? They are basically principles of living. That's all they are. They're ethical guidelines. I'm just reading a little bit off the back of my favorite book. Ethical guidelines, which are foundational to living skillfully. So they give you a detailed map telling you where you are and how to look for your next landmark. So they encompass things such as, and the principles that we'll be reviewing while we're incorporating craft into this are nonviolence, and I don't mean, you know, wanting to go punch somebody in the throat. This is nonviolence, creating balance, creating self-love, not being violent, not necessarily in a physical way towards yourself. Truthfulness, non-stealing, non-excess, non-possessiveness, purity, contentment, self-discipline, self-study, and surrender. So we'll be looking at those principles while weaving. Now, the beautiful thing about this course is that we will be spending, there are 12 sessions, and we will be spreading out those 12 sessions over a 6-month period. And we will be spending time on our own, where we will be doing the weaving, and there's a workbook that comes along with the workshop or with the course. There is homework required because you will have to weave in between classes. So there will be that. There will be some reading. There will be some meditations, things like that. We will come together at each session and we will talk about one of these principles. We will share our weaving experiences. We will tie that into our experience in learning about the principle that we're working on that particular week. Now, when it comes to supplies and things like that, you know, you hear weaving and you think, oh my gosh, I don't have a loom. How am I ever going to do this? So I, of course, have I just showed you a couple of my little ones. I also use this loom right here. Let me back up a little bit. So you can see how big this is. It's, you know, it's not large, but this space right here is the exact space that I use to make one panel, right? Goes not quite as wide as this. But if you don't have something like this, or you don't want to purchase something like this, you don't have to. You can go to the dollar store, you can go to the thrift store, and you can pick up an old picture frame, right? You can grab some spare wood around the house and you can fashion it into something like this, right? As long as it's a rectangle shape, it'll work. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that is the whole thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? It's one of the principles we'll be working on during this workshop, during this course. So this is an intense course. It comes with a workbook that is sent to you in PDF format. You are encouraged to purchase or dig out of your stash a new journal that you can use for throughout this process. You need to have a loom. Maybe that's a picture frame. all right? You need to have stash. And I think we all have stash, all right? And then I will also be sending out, if you don't want to purchase this book, you don't have to. I think it's available on Amazon, but you don't have to, because I will be sending out within the workbook that you get all the information that you need. So you don't need to worry about that. So here's the thing. I'm going to open up the wait list for this course. I plan to start the course likely in April, but perhaps May. I haven't nailed down the dates yet. But if this sounds like something that is of interest to you, I encourage you, once I put out the link for the wait list, to get your name on the wait list. This is something that, is a passion project for me. I think that it is such a beautiful way to investigate your connection to your crafting, your connection to meditation. Even if you think you can't meditate, your connection to just learning more about where you are today, where perhaps you want to go, and how you're going to do that. So this is a personal practice where handwork or art is performed consciously in a way that keeps you aware of the craft person or the artist, which is you, and the divine source, your materials, and your person. So we'll do a full investigation of the yamas and the niyamas, the ethical principles, and that will lead you as a participant to identify events from your lives that will match with these ethical principles. So then the idea is that when we have all of these panels woven, and we've been thinking about each panel, kind of matching it up with one of these principles, we're going to have little pockets sewn on the inside of each panel. And in those pockets, we're going to place something of meaning to us. This is where the Memories of Life shawl comes in. So into those pockets, you're going to place maybe a picture, or maybe a poem, or maybe a treasure, a small treasure. That's going to be inside the little pockets that we sew into each of these panels, so that when you wear this beautifully woven and completed shawl, all of your memories are wrapped around you. So if this sounds like something that if it is of interest to you, get your name on that wait list. So watch Instagram for that, and I hope that you're interested in exploring. All right, so let's jump into our Knitter's Oracle. Let me just give these a shuffle, and we will pull a card out. Oh, so today we have drawn the whip. Let's see what the whip has to say. Whoops. Number 5. All right. The whip. Like a sweater getting ever larger, the whip is largely about slow and steady growth, well grounded and connected to the solid foundations of the past. It can also refer to matters of health and well-being, whether physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, and is a useful key card for that purpose. It can suggest one's roots or the root of a situation, things that occur in the past, as well as a grander sense of connection with the world around us. The whip. Slow and steady growth, well grounded and connected to the solid foundations of the past. Slow and steady. Remember that saying, slow and steady wins the race? The whip. So, slow and steady, but what happens when you have whips, like I do over there? Is leaving them in a project bag for 6 months considered slow and steady? I don't know. It can suggest one's roots or the root of a situation, things that occurred in the past, as well as a grander sense of connection with the world around us. That's interesting to me. I'm having a hard time connecting that. Well-grounded and connected to the solid foundations of the past, it can also refer to matters of health and well-being, whether physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. I'm at a loss for this one. What do you guys think? I don't know. Let me know what comes up for you when you think about this card, the Web. Wonder why this one's evading me. Don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. Okay, my friends, that's it for this episode number 50. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's always great to spend time with you. I will let you know about tomorrow's event. Oh, I'm so excited. So excited to meet some people and chat about weaving and chat about creativity with them. It'll be great fun. And if you have any questions about the Lifetime of Memory Shawl course that is coming up, let me know. I'm happy to chat with you about that. And watch for the link for the wait list, because I would love to have you join me. I am so looking forward to jumping a little deeper into not just the physical act of creating, but all the other stuff that goes around with that, right? So, all right. I hope you get some great knitting done this weekend, friends, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.